21st of February, 2186. Landed and finished a mission recently with a squad on Aurora Bay to fight against the bots. We had heard from Super Earth and the ministries of information that the bots had stolen from us, from Super Earth and everybody. And now we are pushing towards Cyberstan and making sure that these bots pay for these acts. We landed and got right to work, calling in our stratagems and everything that we needed. Plenty of bot bases in the area for us to wipe out, but our main objective was to neutralize orbital cannons that were in the area, and 2 of them from where we were and landed. At one of the downed rescue pods, I found the body of a Helldiver, and on their back, packed away, was my journal. I recognized the decals and engraving that I had put onto it, so that way I knew that it was mine, and the code matched up, thankfully. Before recording what this mission was, I did listen in to what the other diver had put in, and just to say that Gregor will be honored on the Wall of Martyrs back on Super Earth and with everything. And definitely was a different experience listening to those journals. This mission took place during the dark of night, mostly. I had my RS-89 Shadow Paragon armor on for this, and with the Pillar of the Abyss cape on my back. My weapons were the sensor, my grenade pistol, and some incendiary grenades packed along. Now, this was not a commando mission, so thankfully I was able to bring other gear, brought along the rocket sentry, and I was able to cool down the 120mm barrage as well when needed. Past those 2 stratagems, I brought along my anti-material rifle and the supply pack for myself, just to keep myself topped off with being out in the field and everything. I've had a lot of enjoyment being able to stealth around the bots in their bases, picking them off and taking down their fabricators with pretty little resistance. Just being able to sneak around, staying out of the line of sight of their sensors and everything. And thankfully, with the sensor being as silenced of a weapon as it is, it doesn't usually attract a lot of attention versus, even the diligence. But to be honest, I haven't touched my diligence in a hot minute, and it's probably an attachment that I'm forgetting about for it off the top of my head while doing this journal. But I wanted to do this kind of quickly and get back out in the field, especially against the bots with everything that's been going on. I will say too that this planet has been a hell of a lot less chaotic than Menkend and some of the other spots recently. I had heard initially about a surge of hulks that were going through those planets and being dropped in from the bots, and that it was just complete and utter hell for a lot of Helldivers. Finally, myself getting to do a mission or 2 there. Actually, I only did 1 mission. It was by Liberty's grace and calling and whatever God of Liberty allowed such. I have no idea how the hell I got off the planet alive with the missions and stuff. Just drop ships being called in with 5 hulks in them, patrols with 2 to 3 hulks going through. It's like, even with our squads and all the anti-tank stuff that we had, it's almost like we still couldn't take them down fast enough. It was just fucking hell, to be quite honest. Those planets thankfully got liberated, and now we push onward towards Cyberstan and everything. It does make me wonder what we're going to run into if we get to the bots' home planet. Hive Lords dealing with on the bug front was interesting enough, and I never even ran into one of them. But what the heck? What could the bots have? This mech or tank of absolute insanity with 100 guns on it. It's like back on Super Earth as a kid growing up, and like the war game that we would talk about, where they had these tanks with just like 12 or a dozen guns on them and stuff, and just blast people when you had these super human crazy warriors that would be able to fight and wore basically tank armor on and stuff. It was just insane. But I don't know, until we push under those times and I deal with that and I get it journaled down. God, I am running behind on these journals too, but we have been busy. But I want to keep them going, and if I'm late for some of this knowledge, I still want to say and state some of this knowledge for you, my fellow Helldivers, and for myself. Dropping in for this mission, we thankfully were already close to one of the orbital cannons in the northwest area where we were at. We all called in our stratagems and proceeded and fought our way to it. Getting up the hill and the defenses that they had, that the bots had in place, thankfully all of my fellow Helldivers. I gotta say, this mission, I was so thankful for all of you that we got through this shit together. Had to call in a few reinforcements. We lost some good people out there, but we all fought our way to the top. I was able to call down a hell bomb, activate it, and get it blown up, taking out one of those orbital cannons. This planet had the jet brigade and the incendiary troops, and they can definitely be a pain to deal with. God, those freaking devastators are still just a pain with the flank shotguns and that fire damage. And that range is just always so deceivingly long that they can burn you. I've just seen too many Helldivers go down to them. I was not around for Malevelon Creek, but damn, is this still just... I don't know, it feels a fraction or a part of what those divers dealt with, but I know that those times were just so different too. But finally clearing out that area, we started to head west and southwest and west, southwest, south to clear out more enemy bases and troops. We pretty much stuck in groups of 2 and 2, or altogether as 4 for us, just going through enemy bases together and gathering supplies, stratagems, super credits, samples, and everything that we could, just gathering a hold of everything, but just moving as a squad. And I was so thankful for my fellow Helldivers for that. Like, to any Helldivers, to any of you that, you stick with your groups and you work as that team for stuff, just thank you. It's so great knowing that we can dive together and push forward for stuff. I did learn with some of this, though, that I do love the equipment I bring, but I have got to start bringing thermite grenades for the heavy enemies. Seeing, like, the factory striders and war striders and hulks through all this, it's just, I just don't always have that firepower. An anti-material rifle, yes, I can one-shot a hulk in the eye if I get that precision right. But it just isn't ideal for the rest of them, so it's just, and sometimes getting just split off just enough and running into them is a pain. It's just... I don't know. I don't rely on the incendiary grenades as much as I used to. So I think thermites might be a smart move for anti-tank abilities. As we moved through the southern area of where we were at, we located a detector tower. And I had found a great trick to take them down and the base around them pretty much easily and with minimal issues. 120 millimeter barrage, orbital barrage from the Super Destroyer is a great throw and forget item to use on these. I am personally feel pretty lucky to have the atmospheric monitoring and the high density explosives for my orbital cannons already unlocked with the samples and everything that I've gathered for it. It tightens the grouping of the shells and just does a lot more damage. Personally, I think it's a great thing to have. Hopefully in the future be able to unlock all the equipment that I can get my hands on, but hey, to other Helldivers, if you can get your hands on this and you love your orbitals, by all means, like, those are solid to have. Next to that, though, that tower was a control panel for the bots' defenses. Another diver was able to hack into it and compromise their defenses for our advantage. They hacked that system while we stood guard and just made sure to keep their ass clear as best as we could, allowing them to finish the job with ease. From there, we moved north, just finding and taking out more bots, their bases, each time that we located one. I was thankful to have just that fellow Helldiver support me and help clear things out. Like I I said earlier, I don't know if I've ever said ever at all until this journal, for some reason, is the time it sunk in for me, but just to my fellow Helldivers, your support and cover for all that stuff is just so greatly appreciated. Together, we're taking down our enemies in the name of managed democracy, and it's glorious. As I was clearing out some of the bases, two of the other divers were pushing heavier toward that last orbital cannon in the area. They cleared some of the bases along the way, but right as they got toward there, thankfully, the rest of us had finished our jobs, and we were all able to meet up and just push up toward that last cannon up that hill again. A fellow diver called down the hell bomb for us. Due to a lot of the bots closing in, they started to take toward defense and covering our flank. So I made sure to get the bomb armed up and ready to go, and thankfully we all got out of that range before it detonated on us. So ahead of myself, I flub sometimes on this stuff. We were cleared to get to the extraction point and get off the planet with our main objective done, and thankfully we cleared up all the other side and secondary objectives that needed to be done in the area too. I began to head toward the extraction, but not all of the team was with us, so I dropped my rocket sentry down and just decided to hold ground and wait. I know one diver was a little bit farther off from that point. They had to circle around the area to lose some of the bots in their tail. Thankfully, we all were able to meet up, and we all got toward the extraction point together. I did pull off for just a second trying to find some more samples and gear, but it just wasn't worth it. My fellow divers called in the extraction, and I wanted to get the hell off the planet and make sure that I could dive another day. My fellow divers thankfully called in that Pelican, and we were able to hold out on the extraction. Bots were definitely making it difficult with one final push against us, but boy, with all the firepower we had, the orbital barrages and everything, we were able to hold out and get back to our super destroyers. Now, to dive again, I gotta keep pushing for these missions, and we gotta take care of this bot problem and everything. So to my fellow Helldivers, just let's keep diving, keep doing what you can. For Super Earth and for managed democracy, we will do this.